Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you the ordinary AM and PM skincare routines. Now I came up with 3 example morning routines as well as 4 evening ones, where you then would go over them, see which one fits with your skin concerns the best, and then go ahead, pick that one and recreate it at home. That's at least the idea behind this entire video and the setup of my routines. So I have prepared for you everything in a PowerPoint so I can share this with you visually. And I want to quickly go over the first 3 example routines so that you can see the setup and what's going to change and how you can identify which one you should then pick. So when looking into the first morning skincare routine, this is going to be the setup. The overall setup stays the same, as you can see with the other ones as well. What's primarily going to change are the individual treatments and this little box right here on the top. Now this box should give you a little summary what it's supposed to do. So if your skin concerns are that you are lacking the antioxidant support, or that you want to keep the skin hydrated because you have dehydrated skin, or restore the skin barrier and protect the skin against UV rays, then this would be a great daily morning skincare routine that you can follow. Whereas on the other hand, if you're not only looking into hydration, smoother skin surface, maybe you want to have a plumbing effect as well, and focusing on signs of aging, well then the second morning skincare routine would be your focus. Or with the last morning skincare routine, that one is primarily there if you have an oilier skin type. So you're trying to reduce enlarged pores, regulate your oiliness, as well as reduce pigmentation, such as dark spots after acne, just as an example, then this would be the best fit for you. So that you then understand that the setup stays the same, but it targets a specific skin concern. Now I'm going to head into the evening skincare routine much later. At first I want to cover the morning part, because for the evening the setup is going to change a bit. Now for the first morning skincare routine, again you always can see on the top the time of use. Right here you have the little description, below that the example routine already in the correct order of application as always, and below that the overall general guide. Now the overall general guide can be adjusted if you have a larger or smaller face. You can add a few drops more or less, but generally speaking, make sure that you have enough product to apply an even and thin layer all over that absorbs quite quickly into the skin, and that you're going to avoid using too much of it, because depending on the treatment that you have picked, it can not only layer uncomfortably, but you may even increase the risk of experiencing irritation. So therefore, not overdoing it in general is always a good point to keep in mind. Now, I want to quickly break down the example routine. So you're going to first of all get started with your cleansing step. So pick a regular cleanser that's suitable for your skin type. You can see 2 great examples right here. Then wash your face, rinse it off, and then take a clean towel and gently pat all over to remove the excess water from the skin surface. So this is an important step before applying your first serum to the skin so that everything layers properly. If you feel confused about dry skin, damp skin, or wet skin, I have a specific video for you which I can leave in the top right corner. But in general, avoid applying your skincare products to wet skin. Then we are heading into the first zone, which is going to be an hydrating zone. So the ordinary has a few options. So this can be marine hyaluronics, amino acids, or hyaluronic acid. And then based on your preference, based on your choice, you would then go ahead, pick one of them, and then apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. And then with their water-based zones, they usually absorb quite quickly into the skin. So within the 30 seconds to a minute, this should be done, and then you can head into the next step. Now when it comes to the next step, we're keeping the focus towards the antioxidant serum. So right here I've picked ordinary ascorbyl glucoside at 12%, which is a vitamin C derivative, and it's a water-based formulation, whereas the other 2 are anhydrous solutions, are under the ordinary antioxidant category. And so based on the one that you then would pick, you need to make sure that you're not going to overuse the product. So therefore, again, you have the general guide below. Plus, with anhydrous solutions, so with those 2 right here, you may need to wait a minute or 2 longer for it to absorb and set on the skin before heading into the next step, to make sure that it layers properly, because water-based serums absorb quite quickly into the skin, whereas the anhydrous solutions take a bit longer, so please keep this in mind. Nonetheless, once you have applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then as an optional step, I did include the Ordinary Moisturizer right here, which contains natural moisturizing factors. So depending on your skin type and how well hydrating this combination may already be for you, you can go ahead, leave it out or include it. And it contains natural moisturizing factors, which primarily helps to restore your skin barrier and protects it plus hydrates it. And then after that, once you've applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. The last step is going to be your sunscreen. Now you can see two great examples that I have picked right here. Of course, if you should have a different sunscreen that you really like, you could go ahead and replace it, but it's going to be the last step in your morning skincare routine to protect from the damaging UV rays. And then once you have applied it to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then this would be the entire breakdown and like going through the entire example routine that you can follow daily. Now, if you now say, well, that's a routine that does not really fit with my skin concerns or what I'm trying to target, well, then you may want to look into the second example. And not much is going to change. So what's primarily going to change is the third step. So instead of using an antioxidant serum, you can replace it with one of the ordinary peptide serums and apply to the skin, leave it on the skin, and then again follow with moisturize if you should feel the need, and then don't forget to protect the skin with your sunscreen. So that's what's all going to change. It's like the treatment that's primarily going to change to maintain those benefits that I've mentioned right here on the top. Now, if that shouldn't be the one for you, then you may want to look into the last example. Now, right here, I want to take the time to properly go through this step by step because the treatments in general are going to change. So again, after your cleansing step, you're going to head into the first serum. Right here, I've picked the Ordinary Niacinamide as serum. So it's a water-based serum, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin, give it a moment to absorb. Then I went with the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors and the Ordinary Azelaic Acid Suspension. Now, based on how the Ordinary recommends on how you would layer them, they say, well, use the creams before the Ordinary suspensions. So they have more than one suspension, but right here I want to keep the focus towards azelaic acid to target those skin concerns. So use the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors at first. And as you can see, I did not mention that this is an optional step. I find it quite important to include, not only to give it a nice slip before applying the azelaic acid suspension, because it's quite rich in dimethicone, which if you do not have that slip, it can be sometimes quite difficult to distribute all over your face and neck. So therefore, this is quite an important step to do in between. But at the same time, if you feel like the azelaic acid suspension may in the beginning be a bit too potent for you, your skin needs some time to adjust, this can help to buffer it as well a bit. So that you then would work with the moisturizer at first, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin, give it a moment, and then head into the Ordinary Azelaic Acid Suspension, and then apply to the skin, leave it on the skin. And then the last step is going to be your sunscreen. Now, between the azelaic acid suspension and the sunscreen, give it really those few minutes in between so that it can set. Otherwise, you may come across like peeling issues depending on the sunscreen that you have picked and how long you waited in between. So again, do not overdo it with the treatment and then layer properly the sunscreen on top and you wouldn't come across any issues. This should already dramatically reduce this from happening. And then this would be your daily morning skincare routine if you have an oilier skin type and you want to target your pigmentation. So those would be the 3 example morning skincare routines based on your skin concerns. So now would be the time to go ahead and pick the one that fits with your needs the most. Because now I'm going to keep my main focus towards the evening skincare routines, where the setup is going to be a bit different. It's not only about like picking one of the 3 or 4 example routines, but it's primarily working with like maybe 1 or 2 example routines in your evening routine. And so based on that, I went ahead with the first example, evening skincare routine. You can see we're working with the leave-on exfoliating acids. So this would be one way on how you can exfoliate the skin by choosing one of the ordinary leave-on exfoliating acids. Or you could go ahead, if you do not want to work with a leave-on exfoliant but the exfoliating acid mask instead, well then you could also go ahead and include the ordinary peeling solution. But just pick one of them. So either leave-on exfoliating acids or the peeling solution. Please do not work with both together, especially if you then are thinking of working with your retinol or guanactive retinoid as well. And then as the last example routine, I just want to keep the focus towards hydration when not using an exfoliant or retinol or retinoid. Now it may sound a bit confusing. I'm going to break it down, just give me a moment. So in case you want to work with a leave-on exfoliant, well, you can see the Ordinary has a few to pick from. So right here on the top, you can see what they're supposed to do when picking glycolic, lactic or mandelic acid or their salicylic acid. So you can see what it primarily targets, and then based on that, you would select your exfoliant. Now, when working with the exfoliant, and you're thinking of including a retinol or guanactive retinoid into your skincare routine as well, this is the frequency right here on the top that you can follow. So Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So you can exfoliate your skin to do 3 times per week. And then this is what the routine would look like. We want to make sure to keep it simple yet straightforward. So in the evening, it's important to work with a regular cleanser, so a non-exfoliating acid cleanser, because you're already working with an exfoliant. And depending on the sunscreen that you have worn throughout the day, such as for example a mineral sunscreen, you need to make sure that you're choosing an oil or balm cleanser to properly break it down, because your regular cleanser isn't able to do so. So this can be a great chance to include the Ordinary Squalane cleanser. Use that one on its own. It is able to properly break everything down without any concerns, suitable for all skin types, and you can use it as your daily evening cleanser. Or if you prefer to do a double cleanse, well then yes, you can go ahead and do so, and the evening skincare routine, like the general guide below, will help you to understand how you can do this. But after your cleansing step, so once you have properly washed your face, you have removed your sunscreen, maybe makeup from the skin, excess oil, dirt, sweat, you then are going to go ahead, grab a clean towel, gently pat all over to remove the excess water from the skin surface, and then head into the application of your exfoliant, so picking one of them. Or if you experience in the very beginning, if you're being new to exfoliating acids, a bit of sensitivity, you can also go ahead and give it about 5 to 10 minutes in between. So wait for your skin to dry a bit further and then apply the exfoliant to the skin. This can make a huge difference based on how much it's going to sting in the very beginning for the first few seconds or maybe half a minute, but then it should go away if that's the case. But you have your option right here, so test it and see what works best for you. Once you have applied your exfoliant to the skin, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Give it a moment to absorb, and then head into the Ordinary Natural Moisturizing Factors if you still feel the need. I would recommend, it's a great addition to use afterwards to keep the skin hydrated and protected, but depending on your skin type, you feel like it's a bit too much, it's completely fine to skip it as well. But again, I want to remind you that if you just want to go with a leave-on exfoliant and you're not planning on working with your retinol or guanactive retinoid on other days, you will find the specific frequency right here on how you can increase it over time. It's primarily all about your skin tolerance, and you would do this step by step. Do not immediately use it daily. Start off with 2 to 3 times per week, then every other day, and then maybe up to daily if that's fine for your skin. But that specific frequency would only play a big role if you just want to keep the focus on the leave-on exfoliant and nothing else. Now, of course, when it comes to exfoliating acids, the other option would be, instead of working with a leave-on exfoliant, to use the Ordinary Peeling Solution once or twice per week. So this can be, as an example, on Wednesday and or Sunday. And again, you have to break down right here what the peeling solution is supposed to do based on the exfoliating acid it includes. So again, cleansing steps stays the same. Avoid exfoliating acid cleansers. What's important to do before applying the peeling solution after you have washed your face is really to wait those 5 to 10 minutes. Wait for your skin to dry and then apply the peeling solution even and thinly all over your face and neck, avoiding the eye area as well as mouth area. And then you're going to leave it on the skin for no more than 10 minutes. Once those 10 minutes have passed, you're going to rinse it off with lukewarm water. Just water, there's no cleanser needed. And then again, you're going to pat the skin dry. And then after that, you can follow with, again, an hydrating serum afterwards, and then maybe the moisturizer as well to keep the skin hydrated after such a strong exfoliating acid mask. And then this is a routine that you can then only follow once or twice per week. Now, on the other days, when not working with a leave-on exfoliant or an exfoliating acid mask, you can go ahead and include an Granactive retinoid or the ordinary retinol. Now you can see right here I've mentioned Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and or Sunday. Now this is the specific frequency that I have adjusted if you would work with the leave-on exfoliants, because you can see here it mentions Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so you would basically on the other days work with your Granactive retinoid or retinol. But if you now say you want to use the peeling solution instead, well, then you can go ahead and leave out Sunday right here where you then would use the peeling solution. So you really want to make sure that you're going to adjust the frequency, like basically avoid exfoliating acids and your retinol or Granactive retinoid in the same routine. That's all what I wanted to teach you with this frequency guide. And then again, cleansing step, make sure to properly wash your face, remove your sunscreen and or makeup properly from the skin. After that, you're going to add an hydrating serum to the skin, and then you're going to keep the focus towards the ordinary Granactive retinoid or the retinol. I went with a lower strength so that we are not going to overdo it in case you're thinking of working with one of the exfoliating acid products as well, so that you're not going to overstimulate or over-irritate the skin. And then apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, and then after that again follow with the ordinary natural moisturizing factors if you should feel the need, because primarily the ordinary retinoids and Granactive retinoids, most of them are in squalane where you may not feel the need of using a moisturizer afterwards. And if you want to go for it, then it's fine to skip it. And then this would be the routine when working with your anti-aging serum. Now I want to quickly emphasize again, just as I've mentioned with the exfoliating acids, which you can use on their own as well, or along with your Granactive retinoid or retinol. If you're planning on using your Granactive retinoid or retinol just on its own, you do not want to include any exfoliating acids, then you can follow this frequency right here. Again, similar as I've already mentioned with exfoliating acids, slowly and steady increase the frequency so that your skin has enough time to adjust to it until you may be able to use it daily. And then the last example routine is primarily just if you're not using any exfoliant or Granactive retinoid or retinol, and this is by just keeping purely hydration into focus. So you're working with your cleanser to properly wash your face, then picking one of the ordinary hydrating serums and then following with a moisturizer if you should feel the need. That's primarily all that you can keep the focus on. You could go with such an evening routine daily if you do not want to work with an exfoliant or retinol or retinoid in general, or alternate between them. So whenever you're not working with an exfoliant, whenever you have like a day of a break, you would follow this specific routine. And then there you go, and there you have your adjustments. But I want to quickly emphasize one more thing which you can find in my PowerPoint as well, and this is the skincare product descriptions. So in that category you will find the entire list of products that I have picked in my example routines, in case you feel confused about which one you should pick. For example, with the hydrating serums, here you have the breakdown for whom it is and what they specifically do, so based on that you can then pick the right one for your needs. Same would apply when it comes to the peptides or maybe the antioxidant serums. So you get the idea where you can find all that information. And so then you can read through it and based on that pick the right product that you're looking into for your specific skin concerns. And so below that you will find the general skincare tips, which I have already emphasized based on the order of application. We have how you can do a patch test and so on. I went through this step by step so you can read it again in your own time. And below that you have the sunscreen information guide, which includes when you should wear sunscreen, like what time is the best, how you can properly read your labels, as well as includes an application and removal guide. So you have everything in the PowerPoint in case you should feel lost, you want to remind yourself again, all that information is available in the PowerPoint, which again, if you'd like to get a copy of it, you will find it in the description box down below and you can save it to your device. And so this is what I wanted to share with you. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful, that you now have an idea of what your morning as well as evening skincare routine can look like. And if you want to support my channel, as I'm an independent YouTuber, I'm not affiliated with any skincare brands, I'm doing this all by myself, and I purchase the products with my own money. If you want to support that, well, then you can go ahead and leave a tip either by clicking on the super thanks button below this video, or check the description box down below. There you will find a PayPal link. Already, thank you so much in advance. And so if you now want to learn more about the individual applications, I'm going to leave some of the videos at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.